Alright, here's a praying mantis that I collected at Texas Roadhouse and brought all the way home to let go on the lantana. Ooh, yeah, there it is. That's probably a little close. I stayed with it the whole way home. I'm so those berries be gone. Here we begin another week in the Queendom with water bear tons, rehydrating them, making them into wiggly wonders, and an elm beetle on the side of my house. There's a close-up. This horsefly got caught in the window in the garage next to one of my crystals. And here's that little praying mantis riding home with me in the Lexus. I plan to submit this moth picture to Bug Guide for further analysis. This week was full of glorious homemade meals and some good stargazing nights. That's looking southeast and south and a little bit higher in the sky. That's looking towards 129. And my neighbor tells me that I'm looking at Jupiter. Along with all sorts of other constellations. And the occasional airplane flying by. You can always tell an airplane by the red color and the streak that it makes. And as summer gets warmer and more moths hatch, I can't wait to be able to take images of the moths flying through the night sky. Albeit it's difficult to do. This curcuma plant is actually turmeric. Go figure. Here's a cone flower and cleome. And 4 o'clock that's coming up out back. They close up and open up, and there's a cricket on that one. And there's a bee pollinating the coneflower, and that's looking back at the house, and that's looking at the neighbor's willow tree and a trumpet flower. Frisco was sniffing on something, probably the deer. And I found a pair of leafhoppers mating. They didn't want to be seen. And that's balsam. And another moth I haven't identified yet. The lantana crocosmia oasis. And 2 new hostas. Bees punching holes in the base of the crocosmia flowers. And I harvested basil and made pesto. A new nutritious snack and a skink in the fat lighter. Sidley uncovered this moth cocoon. And there's the Mexican sunflowers after the storm. My Emily McKenzie crocosmias blooming. And a mint refreshment. Newsom spotted this buck moth caterpillar while cleaning the lawn equipment. definitely a stinging caterpillar. A microscopic view of Georgia red clay. Iris root rot under the microscope. Corn husks that didn't work. And the carrot blooming. And dayflowers. I love them. They have such cute elephant faces. And jewelweed being pollinated by ants. Such a festive flower. There's a sweat bee and buds. And that one's about to bloom after the storm. And how tall the Mexican sunflowers are. Emily McKenzie crocosmia. The Rose of Sharon is covered with bees and June bugs and Japanese beetles. And there's the neighbor's mimosa. Here's the first clear wing hummingbird moth that I've seen in my big backyard. On the butterfly bush, the vitex is covered with bumblebees and sweat bees. A silver spotted skipper on the lantana. And grilled lime cilantro marinated shrimp was divine. And another moth. Plant hoppers enjoy basil as much as we do. The Rose of Sharon, crocosmia, they're in the front, and that was after the storm. Here's a little hair streak on the Mexican sunflowers in the front, and another leaf hopper, plant hopper, and more rain. A skipper feeding on high, and the other crocosmia bed. A spider hunting a sweat bee on the Confederate jasmine. 4 clocks. A moth. Tiny red spider web. Cheyenne spirit coneflower is what I bought at Home Depot. They're cream colored. The elderberries have delighted the birds. And parasol mushrooms. And a sweat bee up close. And ants all over the trumpet vine. And the coral honeysuckle. There's the cat. Grilled salmon with mango salsa. And a pair of skinks. The male first and then the female. And more water bears in a new piece of hydrated moss that came from the outlet mall. Morning. A new mossy area. Carpenter bee greeting. And bumblebees pollinating. And once again, the Mexican sunflowers in the morning. Hummingbird, leaf hopper, click beetle, fly, cocoon, and the dayflower. And one of them has its very own fly visitor right there. Miss Jo would love the complementary purple and yellow. A buckeye, a face-off with a grasshopper, a sulfur butterfly, and the hummingbird again, and the sulfur, and a swallowtail butterfly, in several positions. And back to the jewel weed. That one's been eaten. probably by this little guy. And those blasted squirrels and the deer took to eating my dayflowers, which is okay because I dug them up down by the little river anyway. But we've seen her every day, almost twice. And there's the white squirrel's offspring, Grayson's progeny right there in the neighbor's yard. And the deer once again on my nature trail, go figure, eating the creeping Charlie that was down there.